PLD Projects presents Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast featuring PLD and Matty Gunner. May the Force be with you, always. Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast. I am PLD of the PLD Projects Network. With me, as always, my hetero life mate of Life Day. I always forget what you say, but always
hetero life day mate.
Hetero Life Day mate. There you go. Matty Gunner, what are you doing, my friend? How are you?
I'm all right. How was Viva la Mexico?
Oh, Mexico! I wish I was still there. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I was still there. I went down for a little vacay. I found myself on a cabana almost every single day, and about 1 to 15 rum runners later, it was a good afternoon in the sun, fun. Yeah, it was really relaxing. I did not like coming back. I came from 85-degree weather to 20-degree weather, and my car was stuck in snow and ice, and I had to get my local tow company to come out and get it out. Couldn't even take it out. That's how bad it was. Not what I wanted to come home to, but overall, the positive were much better than the negative. I had a lot of fun. I'm sure you saw some pictures I posted on social medias, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But,
just looked very all-inclusive, I'm assuming?
All-inclusive. That's the dangerous part.
Go, brother.
It is the way to go, though. It is dangerous, but it's all like I just sat my ass in the cabana. I wasn't even ordering drinks. After like the third one, they just kept bringing them to me. I'm like, okay, sure. And now that I'm finishing my wife's tequila sunrises when she doesn't finish them, so I got those too. So it's like
that's dangerous.
Both worlds. Oh, it was dangerous. Not gonna lie.
I've never actually had like tequila in Mexico.
It's good. It is.
I bet. I bet. But when I was younger and you would like go on holiday and stuff with your friends, you would like go out and like eat out and like adventure. But the older I get, whenever the rare chance I do get to go on vacation, like to have like not a fight week trip, not anything like that.
Right.
Like a vacation, I have learned all inclusive is the way to go.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yes.
Food's there, everything's there. You don't have to go anywhere because everything. I'm gutted that Celebration Japan is not all inclusive.
That's what should happen next Celebration. They said all inclusive celebrations happen with unlimited blue milk.
Celebration Mexico.
I'd be all for that. I would be all.
Celebration Hawaii.
You get me a little excited now. You get me a little excited. But we're back this week after not being able to appear last week because you were also away. Well, how did your trip go?
Mixed results.
Okay.
Mixed results. We didn't get the result we want. Shout out to Melky Costa, got the win over my friend. Fair play. That's the fight game. Shit happens. Okay. Got to walk around Seattle, which was really cool. Went to Sub Pop Record. I just basically did a whole grunge tour, like 90s grunge tour.
Nice.
Went to this guy's house.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Went to the last club that Alice in Chains ever played, which was pretty surreal. Went to Sub Pop Records, which was really cool. I just spent a day just like, where I went on, I think it was like TripAdvisor and Reddit, and I managed to put together like my own itinerary.
Nice.
Like I found the bridge that Kurt Cobain, when he was younger, used to go underneath. Like he would run away from home and he would like hide under this bridge and like write songs. And I found out where the bridge was.
Nice.
It was like an hour outside of Seattle, and I was like, I am going. Like I need to see this place. Went to Bruce Lee's grave. That was pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah, that's good. That sounds like a good trip overall, minus the first results that you went there for, but the rest of it seems pretty good.
Yeah, fun. It's pretty sweet.
And didn't I hear you correctly that you decided to rent out a movie theater or something?
We didn't get to do it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, we didn't get to do it. Unfortunately, with everything that happened, we were just like,
yeah.
Not this time.
Not the time.
Yeah.
I get it. All right, it's fair. That's fair.
I still haven't seen Captain America yet.
Wow. Okay. All right. You probably should get to it soon. Doesn't look like it's going to stay in years for a whole long time, unfortunately.
Oh, it'll be out here forever.
Yeah. Oh, maybe
we keep, like, we've still got A Real Pain.
Oh, really?
Still in.
There, huh? Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
like Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin are still like regularly coming over to do Q&As for it.
Oh, wow. Maybe UK is better than America after all. In some ways, for sure. Absolutely. But I will say it's a good movie. I feel like it's fine. I think it's gotten a little overhate by some people, for sure. It's a little chaotic, a little sloppy at times. A little, obviously, it shows the rewrites happen. It showed like how they're changing things up and everything else. But I still was entertained.
But go back to like the action movies of the 80s. Like,
I know.
Go back and watch like True Lies and tell me that the writing in True Lies is perfect.
It's pretty good. I think there are better examples you could have used. I'll tell you that.
Like what? Of sloppy action movies? True Lies is the
Commando
sloppy action movie.
Commando.
That's
something like that. Something like that. That's a true 80s.
But like the broy action movie.
Yeah.
Is True Lies.
I will say True Lies is a masterpiece of writing compared to Captain America. I will say that. I'll give you that. To be
you know what I mean?
But,
okay. Speed.
Okay, that's
fair. The writing in Speed is not great, but it's one of the best action movies ever made.
There's overall. I mean, I'm definitely I am more on the side of defending Captain America.
How is the GOAT though? So, how is the GOAT?
He was the best part of the movie as far as I'm concerned.
I watched season 2 of 1923 on the flight home.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Incredible.
Nice. I still have to watch that. That's the one in the Harrison Ford thing I really haven't watched. I've watched like the first episode, but I never got around to watching it again.
Harrison Ford and Dame Helen Mirren.
I know. Oh, I know. I mean, I love the first episode I saw. I just haven't sat down and actually watched the rest.
You know how Tom Cruise has zero sexual chemistry with anyone? Harrison Ford does not have that problem. Even to this day.
He has sexual chemistry with everybody. It doesn't matter who's with. Him
and Dame Helen Mirren, I'm like, yeah, I could see it.
He has sexual chemistry with Sam Wilson, with Anthony Mackie, and Brave New World. I'm not gonna lie, he's all over the place.
He had sexual chemistry with Ryan Gosling.
He is virile. He is a virile man, and he can just make it work with anyone. So
especially in The Kill.
Absolutely The Kill. Absolutely The Kill. True man's man. Harrison Ford, my friend. All right, let's get into our news.
Enough glazing Harrison Ford. Let's get into the
Harrison Ford. Before getting even more uncomfortable than we are, potentially.
I just don't want to take. I just don't want to take over the Ford Fiestas bit.
Our view, yeah, that's true. That's a good point too. Our friends at the Ford Fiesta, I love those boys. They do a great job. Gazing Harrison Ford, for sure. We have some news to talk about, and one big piece of news dropped. It's funny, we kind of had this idea. We're like, hey, what are we going to do this week? I don't know. We had pitched doing Dig Luna like we did Tony Gilroy. And then we're like, I don't know. Really, we can't really do that. Maybe we should just start talking about what Andor. And all of a sudden,
the scoop of heavens opened.
Boom.
Interrupt this in our lap.
Our season 2 trailer dropped. I'm like, oh, all right, JP, that's the thumbnail. That's the story. We're going with it. Let's see it. And then after that, the Kathleen Kennedy news drops. We're like, okay. Well, that's even more. We're full up now. Okay. So we got 2 really big pieces of news and some other minor news we'll get into. Without further ado, I think we should just get into it.
Yeah, let's get the
minor news out of the way first. 2 bits of minor news. First order of news, the new Jedi Order film. Stephen Knight has commented on his departure, and he stated he believes that much of his work is going to be kept by George Nolfi. Now, that was the thing that was talked about before when they came out. Like, is it just rewrite from, is it a page 1 rewrite? Are they incorporating stuff from David Lindelof, and they're going to incorporate stuff from Stephen Knight? Well, Stephen Knight says there's a system, and when you engage with it, you know what it is. You do your bit, you turn to your draft or drafts as I did, and then the system moves on. I fully expect that substantial amounts of what I did will be in the movie. Who knows? But that's the expectation. Now, the smart money is on the fact that, quite frankly, Stephen Knight has no idea what's going to be in the final news at this point.
He has no say over it. He's done his job. He's cashed his paycheck. Done.
So no say, no news. Maybe he has had conversation with people. I don't know. What do you think? Do you expect him to have like a writing credit? Will he still have?
I think so. You don't have someone the caliber of Stephen Knight and not at least use something.
Right. The only issue I would have with the idea is that with all the iterations we've seen, obviously we saw it began with, like I said, David Lindelof, went through a different thing, came with Stephen Knight. Then now Simon Kinberg is coming and perhaps ushering in this Rey trilogy. He's got his people, etc. So it's like, well, where in with all this changing hands, is there a time where they just said, you know what, tossing the whole thing, George, I want you to rewrite this whole thing with this new thing in mind. Could be. I happen to agree with you. I think we'll see bits and pieces of it. It might not be. He said substantial amounts. I don't know if it's going to be substantial amounts, but I think there'll be at least piece. I think you'll get a writing credit from Stephen Knight on this film.
One day I'm gonna get you to watch Peaky Blinders, and then you will see this man is true. Because like, it's one of those shows where like a lot of these shows kind of like Sons of Anarchy, for example, kind of started to like drift off towards the end. It started to dip a little bit. Right. Peaky Blinders is just like bang, 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 like every season
keeps going.
But like it gets better and better and better. And then you have Cillian Murphy on top of it as the main character.
I mean, I love Cillian. I'm not gonna lie there. Definitely love Cillian. In fact, I was kind of hoping that George would get, or that Stephen
is going to be in the Peaky Blinders movie as well. See, so now you have reason to watch Peaky Blinders.
Have even more reason to watch it, absolutely, because she is my lady, my lady in waiting. Sorry, Kim knows this. It's okay.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure your wife's in the same room as you right now.
She's well aware. She understands. We all have our lists. Let me tell you, she is.
I'm just waiting for you to duck as something gets thrown at your head.
Oh.
Had one too many tequila sunrises.
That's fair. All right, another bit of news. This was actually a very exciting piece of news, I think. Kind of thought it was coming, but I'm glad it is. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, 20th anniversary theatrical re-release.
Matt Ferguson, bro.
That poster. Oh, that poster was pretty phenomenal. Not gonna lie. He just does these posters right, and I am very glad to see that it was another banger indeed. I forgot to upload it. I should upload it for the video here. I didn't get to do that.
But it's a the stuff that's currently online because it's a fake. Buy it when he puts it on. Go to a screening or buy it when he puts it on his store. Because so at the minute, there's loads of them out there, like bootlegs on like Etsy and eBay. Do not buy that shit.
That's yucky. Yeah, wait for it. It's worth the wait. Pay the guy that did it. He's done awesome as well.
You get it free with the movie ticket.
Yeah, most likely you do. You usually do. So yeah, it's coming back to the screen 1 week beginning April 25th. April's a huge month at this point for Star Wars. You got Andor coming out.
Andor, isn't it?
You got Star Wars. Yes, it is. Star Wars Celebration is the week before. Andor premieres that following Tuesday. That Friday is when Episode 3 comes out as a release, including for the first time in 40X with all the shaky movie seats and all that kind of stuff. I never actually seen a movie in 40X, so I don't know, but I know some people love that, so they're gonna go with it.
I watched Top Gun Maverick in 40X.
Yeah,
kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I've never been a 3D fan either. Like, I don't like the stuff like popping out of the screen at me. I marvel in like the excellence that it can be done.
Yeah,
but
I get
like
that.
I just want to watch the movie flat on the screen.
I get that. I mean, I like some 3D. Sometimes it depends on how it's done. I was kind of maybe looking forward to seeing the opening battle of Revenge of the Sith in 3D, which is kind of cool because it can be immersive in a way. What I love, actually, I kind of liked, a lot of people don't like it, but I kind of like it, is I know Regal does it. I don't know I forget what they call it, but it's the one where like you hear the movie here, but like it extends up the walls. So you really feel like it really kind of gets almost, it's not, no, it's the visuals extends up the walls. Like it's kind of like, I forget what it's called, but like it's kind of a cool. It actually really is immersive.
It's kind of like the what's the thing in X-Men that Charles puts on? He goes in
Cerebro.
Cerebro. Yeah, it's like half a Cerebro.
Yeah. It also like the screens there most of the time. Then parts of the movie also kind of expands, especially when there's like this wide open landscape. So it's almost like you are there in that landscape. It's kind of a cool immersive thing. I dug it when I've seen it a couple of times.
Comment down below what it's called so me and PLD can find a screening and somewhere
suss it out.
And go watch it. Twisters. That's what I also went to watch in 40X was Twisters.
How that work? I bet you that would be actually kind of cool.
That was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I could see that because you really do want to get involved in that point. That's for sure. On a side note, non-Star Wars related, speaking of theaters, I have a tough decision this week to make. Do you realize there are 2 Ed Harris movies coming out on Friday? 2.
Which ones?
We have Riff Raff, which is a crime comedy, also starring Bill Murray.
That looks really good.
Looks fun, right? Bill Murray, Pete Davidson, Jennifer Coolidge.
Love Pete Davidson. Big Pete
God,
Davidson.
Lewis Pullman. Good, fun. It looks hilarious. I'm all about it. And there's also My Dead Friend Zoe, which is being produced by Travis Kelce. But it's got a drama base. It's a drama about a
Mr. Swift.
Yes, Mr. Swift. This is like one of his first endeavors into film producing.
Fair play.
It's a first-time director. It's a Vietnam vet, or not Vietnam vet. I'm sorry. It's because it's modern day. So it's I'm guessing Gulf War vet,
Iraq.
maybe Afghan. It's a female vet who comes home. It's called My Dead Friend Zoe, and she has a hard time like getting into life, and she has some like therapies and stuff. And I think the consultants, I believe, when you watch the trailer, you find out like she's seeing her dead friend, and like that's like almost like a therapist. She starts talking to her dead friend all the time. But Ed Harris plays her grandfather, and he's like kind of grouchy and crotchety and very intense at times. Morgan Freeman is also in it, though. It seems like a really cool, dramatic piece with some touches of humor as well. But it really seemed kind of. I actually had a piece and people were being interviewed about it. I love the fact. First-time director. He's the first one cast because he's a guy's like first-time director. Absolutely, I'm gonna go help you. Let's get this made. He does. That's what Ed Harris does. He he'll go to like first-time director will go to him. He's like, if he has a good interview with you, and he's like, I like your vision. Yeah, I'll help you get it made. I'll add my name to it. I'll add my name to it. I'll whatever cloud I have, which is it's not a huge cloud. He's not an A-list star, but he can help get stuff made. So he's well known enough that okay, I can attract other people. Morgan Freeman comes along, that helps out quite a bit too. Either way, they both
Morgan Freeman's in it too.
Yes, Morgan Freeman, Ed Harris. I can't remember anybody else that was. Who was the lead? And the lead is actually someone I can't remember her name. She's actually a really good actress though.
Did you ever watch that Anthony Hopkins movie, The Father?
Yes.
I watched that for the first time like 2 weeks ago. That shit broke me.
Sonequa Martin Green, who is in Star Trek Discovery, in Walking Dead, Once Upon a Time.
Who does she play in Walking Dead? I don't recognize the name.
Sasha Williams.
That's it.
Yes, that's her. She is the leading role. And Natalie Morales, who is in Grey's Anatomy, and she was in a bunch of other. She was in Parks and Rec.
I watched Grey's Anatomy. I always thought it was a too serious version of Scrubs.
Yeah, that's my wife loves it. I watched it without having a choice in the matter. Let's put it that way.
Is it one of those shows that's like Days of Our Lives that's just been on forever and 23 years, never die? Years.
And there's no one. I don't think there's any Gray left. Like Gray is the lead character. She's not even in the show anymore. It's still going. It's amazing. I give it credit. It is amazing that it's still going. But either way, I sorry for the diversion. Not Ed Harris fans. I just had to put it out.
We're not even 20 minutes in. It's fine. When we get to like 45 minutes and we're still diverging, then we got a problem.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to end up doing. I can't do anything Friday because I had a prior engagement that wife put in the calendar like months ago before I knew the release dates were. Unfortunately, so Saturday I'm going to watch one of them, and Sunday I watch the other. So decide which one.
Why are you doing Ed Harris double feature?
I could, but I could also do a Regal. I have the Regal Pass, so like one free movie a day kind of thing. So I was like, kind of cheaper to spend one other. I could do that.
You don't just go into the other screening.
I've done that before. I mean, not of course.
I do all the time.
But we'll see. I might want to do it depending on time, depending on how much time I have between work and everything else I do with the wife and kids too. So
I can say this on the internet because no one knows where I live and no one knows where I go to watch movies. So.
That's fair. That's fair. I do not do that. Liar. I did that when I was a kid. Yeah.
Hey man, the price of movie tickets these days, I'm seeing 2 movies.
I get it.
Plus the concessions.
Right. Well, that's why I
2 movies.
I think it's kind of unless you don't go to movies at all, it's kind of dumb not to have one of those kind of like Regal passes or AMC passes. Because like, I mean, if you see 2 movies in a month, you are making up for the cost of the thing, and you're getting 10% off the concessions as well.
That's a down payment on a car.
That is. Tell me I know all about that. All right. Back to Star Wars news. We have one more piece of news that dropped that I want to talk about real quick because we had a release. You pitched it. I said, there's no fucking way I'm going to be able to do this. The Mask of Fear dropped on Tuesday as well. The new book by Alexander Freed, which starts a new Star Wars trilogy called The Reign of the Empire, a kind of disconnected trilogy. It's kind of one of those trilogies that's more of a spiritual succession. It's not like they go from book A. Actually, he put it best. He actually, in an interview, which I'll talk about, Alexander Freed said it best. It's not like it's A to B to C. It's more like A to M to Z. Kind of think it's like that's where we're seeing different parts of the lives. Basically, it's Bail, Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, and things of that nature. So it dropped. You pitched like maybe we can listen to it and review it. There's no way I was going to listen to it. I'm about 10% in.
Funny thing about that, I
Did you finish
started listening. I started listening. Oh, hear me out. I finished it.
But give me your not spoiled. Give me your not spoiled.
I can't because I fell asleep while I was listening to it on the plane, and it was still rolling. So I've used my 15 hours a month for Spotify.
No. Oh no.
I don't know if I can go back and re-listen to it. I haven't tried yet.
Oh wow.
But I put it on and I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this on the way back. Started listening. I got like 30, 40 minutes in.
Right, and then you were done.
I had the whole road to myself, PLD. I just laid down.
Oh, there is nothing better in an airplane ride.
Way there and way back. Road to myself.
You are a lucky man. Because that is a dream. I go there to a plane every time. I sit there and I go, okay. And you see that and there's nobody there. You're watching people come on. You're just like, no, okay, do it.
I went to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. I came walking back. Someone was about to like jump in my row. I just gave him the death stare. Like, don't you fucking dare, dude. Don't you fucking dare.
On the way back from Mexico, wasn't that big a deal. It was only like the last flights. I flew from Albany to Washington, D.C. to Mexico. The Albany to Washington, D.C. is like an hour and a half flight. Then there's like it's like 3 hours to Mexico.
Do you not just go JFK?
No, Albany's my airport is 2 minutes away for me. Like, I live in an airport like right there, so it's like
fair enough.
It's cheaper to go with the layovers anyway. But anyway, so literally like it's not that long of flights, but the last flight through, Kim and I were too far back of the plane. We don't like being in the back part of it, like the very back of the plane. Oh, no. So we upgraded a little bit, but we couldn't get our seats together. But we both got aisle seats. I'm like, okay. So she gave me seat 7 or whatever, and she was seat 9. So we were a couple rows back from each other. And I'd go, that's fine. It's just another hour and a half flight. But on that flight back, she's like, you know what? I don't like this row. Can I be up in the 7 and you take 9? I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't really care where I am. Yeah, sure. You take that. Don't you know? I got there, and that's the one that ends up being without anybody else in it. It gives like, son of a bitch. I'm like, hey, you have done this yourself.
Can I tell you that if you ever had to do jury duty, and I promise we'll get back to Star Wars after this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you ever had to do jury duty, but you've gotten out of it because you weren't picked?
There
is only one better feeling than that, and that is getting out of having to sit in the service row on a plane.
Do you know how I got out of my jury duty?
How'd you get out?
I pulled the George Carlin. I had the ass there. I just heard the bit. Yeah, I did it and it worked. And he goes, so do you think you'd be good for this jury? I said, I would be great for this jury. He's like, why? I could spot a guilty person like that. Dismissed.
I was just told to go home because there was no more court cases that day.
I got asked the question.
But when they ask you if you're like physically capable of like helping out in an emergency, I'm pretty physically capable of helping out in an emergency. I just don't want that responsibility.
Oh yeah.
So when I moved like 2 rows back from where I was sitting, so I didn't have to be in the emergency row if some shit happened.
That's fair. I usually take the chance because, like I said, the rows are a little bigger usually. So I'm like, what's the chance something's going to happen? Of course.
Brother, have you seen the news lately? Planes dropping like flies.
I'm saying normally before this recent bit of travel, I didn't get that aisle seat or whatever choice. But all right. Anyway, let's get back. Alexander Freed, Mask of Fear. I'm about 10% in reading wise. I'm enjoying what I'm reading so far, but like I said, I'm only a couple chapters in.
See if I can replay it.
They have good. I think it's a good handle on the characters so far. But it's interesting to note. I know our friend Alexander Freed. Our friend Alex Damon loves Alexander Freed.
Alexander Freed's a friend of the show.
No, Alex Damon loves Alphabet Squadron. Loves Alexander Freed's.
I love that. I love the Alphabet Squadron books as well.
You do. And I was always someone who I didn't like it as much as like you guys did. I didn't dislike it, but it didn't do as much for me. But I admit he's very good about crafting like down to earth. It's not really earth. I know that, but more realistic, gritty military type
Dark
storylines.
and gritty, to
dark and
use
gritty.
the term that everyone uses.
Yes, exactly. But not like he doesn't use the Force or Jedi or Sith too much so far. And I read that trilogy and I liked it. I thought there was like almost too big of a cast, and I wasn't like there was no really connective tissue, which I was kind of okay, it's cool. I mean, I had fun with it, but it wasn't as for me. It wasn't a huge win. So I was kind of like looking forward to this trilogy. I was like, this first one, I'm very interested to see what he can do with characters I already know. So that's a little bit of a more of a pull-in for me, for example. And I've liked that so far. Again, only 10% in, so I can't really say much about it. What do you think so far? About you've heard 30 or 40 minutes on?
Yeah, really good. I feel like the part of spoiler alert, but it's right at the beginning, so who cares? Like Bale going to Jeddah.
Yeah, that was great.
I was like, that's an interesting
Yeah.
because like he's in the procession. He's not just there watching. He's like up on the stone turning it, and like he's grieving the Jedi as well. And you
Right.
find out it's because like he knew a Jedi when he was younger.
Yep.
I was like,
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. So that
Yeah.
there's like really cool little insights into characters that we've grown up with our entire lives. So that's what I love about like these books. Like they can flesh out these characters even more.
Absolutely. I will say that the knock on the book or this trilogy, at least potentially so far, from one person who has at least read the first one, is the fact that there is true that we know our main characters who are, it's basically Mon, Bale, and Saw. We know none of them can have any big victories in here. So like we're not like these aren't huge moments for them, but I still think it can be worthy storytelling if done right. That's what I'm hoping for. But he did an interview with Star Wars Newsnet. Of course, I always plug Star Wars Newsnet. They're great at cutting through the crap, and we get like what's real, what's a rumor, and all that kind of stuff news from them. But they also do some interviews and stuff. And I thought a couple of interesting notes were made in this interview. First off, this is not a quote. I just noticed it later on. He did mention, they asked him about what he would like to do in Star Wars if he got an opportunity to make another Star Wars book. He said, I never know when my last Star Wars book is going to be. I always treat like everything that's like my last. But if I had a choice to do something, he made a note of wanting to delve into the fantasy side of things and the Jedi Sith side of things, which is something I didn't think. I personally, after reading Alphabet Squadron and like knowing what this book was, I kind of almost felt he was like a guy who didn't want to do that stuff. Like he wanted to kind of
like a Tony Gilroy type. He just doesn't care.
Like he wanted to do more of the Andor style stuff. That's why I kind of figured that was him. But the fact was, he's like, I love fantasy. I would like to do something with that. I'm like, oh, now that intrigues me to see what his take on the dogmatic Jedi approach something like that would be. Something during episode 2, 3, like during the Clone Wars, or like later on, we can do Jedi Order stuff or something way back in the day. That interests me a little bit. But anyway, the other part of this is just a fun quote that I read about when they were asking about different characters that they used and things like that. He said, talking about characters he got to use. He said, well, that's a tricky question. It's not a gigantic part of the book, but I had a surprising amount of fun. The question was, who did you really find that you liked writing? Since these weren't your characters initially.
Yeah.
So that's trick one, not a gigantic part of the book, but I had a surprising amount of fun writing Mon and Perrin. It was actually a dynamic that changed a bit through the drafts of the book. First run out, instructions from Lucasfilm had been like, yeah, go pretty light on Perrin content. He's really Tony Gilroy's character. That character belongs to Andor.
Tony.
We don't want to step on anyone's toes. It wasn't that he was out of the book entirely, but it was just sort of brief glimpses. As folks reviewed that first draft, there was a sense of, you know what? We can afford to do a little bit more here. And by that time, I had kind of developed a taste for the complexity of the relationship. So I got fleshed out a little bit. They're in a better place than they are at Andor. You're not seeing a great deal of fondness between Mon and her husband in Andor season 1. The relationship is still a rocky one, a Mask of Fear, but it's a different kind of rocky. I like the idea. Like, I don't know if he's going to get in trouble for that or not. Like, just the look into the working parts behind the scenes. It doesn't seem like Tony said no. It seemed like if someone else behind was kind of let him be Tony's. Let that be Tony's thing. And
it's probably like where Dave is the only guy that can really write, so is allowed to write Ahsoka. They were probably like trying to be like, whoa, we don't want to piss off Tony. Like,
right. It's like,
be
make sure we
careful with his stuff because we want to keep him sweet.
Right. That'd be the thing to do, right? I just found it interesting to me. I don't know. I just kind of thought it was a nice little I love behind the scene news about that, like how those things develop, especially when it comes to the inner workings of the connectivity, which is always part of my favorite part of Star Wars, anyway. So seeing how that goes, that's cool to me. I like that. So, anything you want to know about Mask of Fear or anything else?
No, I wanted to ask you a question though.
Sure.
You could pick any author to write a Star Wars book or a Star Wars book trilogy.
Any author who has not written one already?
Who hasn't written one already?
Oh God.
I got mine if you want me to go.
Yeah, go ahead. I think I have one too, but go ahead.
Give me either in the Clone Wars. Actually, yeah, in the Clone Wars, because it needs to be like a proper war book. Give me Tom Clancy.
Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. That'd be interesting.
Rainbow Six, Splinter Cell style.
Right. Well, that'd be interesting. Tom Clancy. Huh. Okay. I think what I would do. Yeah, I'd love to see Jim Butcher take out a series.
Okay.
Dresden Files author. I'm a big fan of Dresden Files, as people know. I always loved his interview. He said, "You always wanted to write swords and sandals. It's high fantasy. That's what he wanted to do." And then he had this class in college where this writing teacher was trying to teach him everything, and he was kind of butting up against it. And all of a sudden, like to spite her, he decided to do every single thing that she said to do that he didn't believe in necessarily, because she said it would be a way to get a book published. And so he did everything the right way, just to kind of show her that she was wrong. And that's how he ended up writing the first Dresden book. That turned out that became his most successful series, which is funny. So he's kind of like, well, I guess I see what I know. But he is great. Like the Dresden series is a great pulpy adventure book with a lot of mythology there already. So he knows how to handle it. And he incorporates all sorts of different real world mythologies, Norse gods, fairies, vampires. He takes all the kind of things and makes it his own, but is able to incorporate it.
Like a Neil Gaiman type almost.
Absolutely, but much better person.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. No comment there. Anyway, but he would do that. I would love to see him write like kind of like a Wayseeker book, the High Republic or something like that, like a Jedi who's like left. And it kind of feels like that's what Dresden is. He's a Jedi who's kind of like not necessarily in the order of Jedi, just like Dresden, not in the White Council of Wizards in ways. Does his own thing, has connections with him still, goes off and does his own thing to like understand the forest, to protect people and everything else. Wayseeker book could be kind of cool, or maybe a new Jedi Order book might be cool, like a newer Jedi. Maybe someone who doesn't want to be a part of Rey's new Jedi Order potentially down the line, so he wants to do their own thing. Because you gotta be think about one thing that we haven't really heard of in Star Wars yet. I understandably so, we haven't had done a lot post Return of the Jedi anyway, as far as that goes, as far as the Jedi Order goes. There's got to be other people who have like wanted to research the Jedi after like they're also were so big and then lost. Other Force users who must be involved somehow, and like they've done their own research. I think it'd be kind of cool to find a Force user who maybe under Palpatine doesn't necessarily like leading any battle against the Empire, but just was like looking into the back of their quote unquote religious side of things, or the dogma side of thing, or the history of it and stuff, and kind of creating their own little thing. We could actually have a competing Jedi Order at one point, which would be kind of cool too. Imagine that we haven't had like a new Jedi Order and there's a competing Jedi Order like that's doing their own thing, and like maybe they have to team up, or maybe they have disputes over how they should do things, kind of thing. I guess it's kind of a little like, Mon Mothma's rebellion versus Saw Gerrera's rebellion kind of thing. Two different like things trying to do the same type of thing in general, but they do it different styles. I think that'd be kind of cool. And Jim Butcher writing somebody like that, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So if we're going fantasy, I got 2 picks.
Okay.
Andrzej Sapkowski, who wrote the Witcher books.
Okay.
And the Witcher game and the Witcher TV show. It's all the same thing. And because the story doesn't have to finish, get George R.R. Martin in.
I'm not allowing George R.R. Martin to write anything else.
He doesn't have to finish the story.
I don't want to write anything else, though, until he finishes Game of Thrones, which is never going to happen at this point, unfortunately.
No. That's why he's perfect, because the story gets to keep going. He doesn't have to finish it. He could get halfway through his first draft, and they'd be like, George, that's enough. We can just put it out.
I'll throw another name out there. I don't think he would ever do it, because I don't think he loves the idea of doing anything that's not in his own IP, outside of finishing the Robert Jordan books, Brandon Sanderson, who had been he does the Cosmere books, he does the Mistborn books, he's the one who finished the Robert Jordan Wheel of Time books.
Oh, okay.
He is an author, he has written, this is a guy who is so prolific, he'll fall down the stairs and 3 books will be done. Like literally speaking, like literally, he comes out with these books all the time. They're not like short books. They're like 800-page book, 200, like 800, like the one I'm reading now, the latest of his Cosmere, which is his most epic book. He has like 10 books planned in this saga, or maybe 15 books, and like this is like 1,300 pages. I kind of think it's amazing. It's really in depth. He has his own magic. He's a phenomenal writer. I think he can do a lot in this franchise in a way. It'd be kind of cool. Again, though, I don't know. Like Jordan was a hero and a friend of his, so I don't know if he'd want to do that for any other franchise because he's done so much of his own stuff. All his books are like pretty much interconnected into one of the universes. It is like he'll be completely different times. Dude's awesome. he's really really talented, really intelligent, really creative. But so he'd be another one I wouldn't mind seeing do something in the Star Wars universe. Maybe he would do, because he's done some like young adult kind of books as well. I could see him maybe doing a one-off maybe or something like that potentially. It'd be kind of cool, but I don't know. All right, let's go to the rest of the story. We have two other big stories to drop, and first we're going to talk about that's the big one. Got a lot of different facets of information on that have been leaked. Kathleen Kennedy is a report that Kathleen Kennedy is retiring at the end of 2025. Now, I want to get something out of the way first. Obviously, the Red Eyes have been talking about this for about 7 or 8 years now, and I hope they're not really celebrating. I hope they're and I'm hoping you're not celebrating like they did anything or that they finally had something right, because quite frankly, you kept predicting it. She's not immortal. She eventually was going to leave. I don't think you predicted jack shit. To be honest with you. And honestly, these rumors happen all the time, so we haven't covered this before, besides like kind of saying there's a rumor out there and kind of been whatever. This one does seem much more legit. It came from Puck News, which has become kind of a very more reliable source. It's been picked up by some of the trades, the fan trades, and it feels like there's a lot more bite to this. I will say, with responsibility, for all responsibility, CNN put out a piece that kind of sort of debunked it or denied it, saying there's no, but it was really kind of a non-denial. Even Star Wars Newsnet said it was kind of a non-debunking denial in a way. It feels like when you look through all the things that were said, it looks like legitimately this is going to happen by the end of the year. I think the denial was more a sense of they didn't want to announce it yet. They want to announce it when and how and why Kathleen Kennedy does it, because she's earned that to be able to do that when, why, and how she wants to do it. And the other rumor side of things is that they might announce that celebration. That might be the thing.
There was also the thing that came out about Rain Roberts, right? That apparently Rain Roberts was due to be her successor.
That was a part of it too.
that kind of
Kathleen was supposed to resign or retire or whatever, or leave at the end of 2024. And maybe actually, according to other parties, I think it was Jeff Snyder. So this one potentially was supposed to leave to do another production company. She wants to lead a different production company. For one, there is some kind of AI-based production company. She couldn't get the funding for that. Now she's doing more of a regular production company, looking for an Oscar, basically, at this point. She wants to work with some people we know very well, like her husband, Frank Marshall, like Steven Spielberg, like that, trying to do something a little different outside of the realm of things. And yes, that was the news that Rain Roberts potentially had been groomed to be a successor, but when she left, it was kind of like they didn't have anybody else to take their place. So she said, all right, I'll re-up for one more year.
Half of YouTube wants to take her place.
Everybody wants. A lot of people want to take her place, and a lot of people would fail miserably, just so you know. We want to take you in?
I don't want that. No.
I don't want it at all. Nope. Oh God, no.
Nope.
The other side of things also is that she's not moving too far away. I guess she's still going to have producer credits on the films, which makes sense. How much involvement she has, that's where the question mark would lie. It could be a golden parachute that she leaves, and I'll leave, but I still want my name on a lot of things, so she still gets that kind of credit, which is something I absolutely, she's earned, again, as far as I'm concerned. Overall, honestly, I some people are going to yell at me for this. I don't care. I think her run has been successful overall, more successful than not. At the same time, am I curious about what New Blood would bring? Absolutely. We are in kind of a right is a strong word, but obviously the brand is not as strong as it was at one point in terms of like ratings and like knowledge, and like Skeleton Crew didn't get as many views. Okay. Acolyte, like it or not, was kind of a disaster as far as publicly goes, as far as like the discourse goes, the dreaded
core public opinion.
core public opinion discourse, well overhated for sure, and well taken up by people we don't want to talk about. But unfortunately, at the end of the day is when you say acolyte, the first thing that comes up is the discourse about it. Skeleton Crew, well received overall, but not as well watched. Star Wars hasn't had a movie in the big screen since 2019's Rise of Skywalker. So a lot of cancellations, a lot of plans haven't been made. So you know what? It's time. Maybe Kathleen Kennedy, who is a legend, an icon, no doubt about it, deserves all her flowers. It'd be interesting to see if maybe a change of pace could be good for the brand potentially. I think you could say that without being misogynistic or anything like that. I think it's quite possible to be both. It's not that I want her to leave, but if she does, I am curious to see what comes next. It does make sense to me also in the fact that we don't have a lot of solid plans in place. I wonder if this is the reason why. Kind of like, let's get our ducks in a row. Let's move out. Let the new person kind of take over and do their thing, whatever they want to do. Because right now, Andor ends. We have Mandalorian and Grogu coming out next year. And we have Ahsoka Season 2 coming out next year. That's all we really have officially, like, because Mandalorian and Grogu has filmed. Ahsoka Season 2 is beginning to film, I believe, in April, or starting to film somewhere around there. We have reports of a lot of other things, but nothing completely confirmed. The Levy movie might be started to film in September. James Mangold is writing his movie. There's a Rey movie starting to write, so we don't know. I think Celebration is going to be a big deal. We're going to find out a lot more of the plan, I think, in place. But with that in mind, and well, I'll let you comment first on that before we move on to like part 2 of what we.
Yeah, I mean, her resume speaks for itself. I go back to it, and someone last time I said this on our show, I got absolutely lambasted by someone. Everyone who's saying like, yes, this is great. Everyone who's dancing on this. What have you done? Look at her career. Look at her life. What have you done that equates to that? She's 70. Surprising. I didn't know because she looks fantastic for 71.
Oh yeah.
She probably just wants to retire.
Yeah. Or going.
I would be done by 55 latest.
And if she is going to make another production company, which she could do, it might be a lower stakes. I can do 1 film a year and that kind of thing. She just deserves that. Absolutely.
Something just to keep her creative brain ticking over.
100%. Okay. Well, if this is to happen, I believe it's going to happen. I'll leave like a 5% chance that there's something going on fishy and somebody dropped the ball somewhere. But I am of the belief that this is true and that she's going to leave at the end of 2025 or perhaps early 2026 if things can't get worked out. But a question becomes, who takes over? Who becomes the new president of Lucasfilm? And that's a big question mark. And it's also it's probably one of the hottest jobs, but also one of the more toughest job in the world, especially given the discourse of where we are at this point. So that's another reason that has been floated out that she was not going to leave in 2024 because they couldn't find a good replacement for her. Obviously, this is a thing where it is not a creative position as much as it is a business position. So there is a creative side of things, but I have a feeling that if someone creative is put in there, then it'll be part of a duo, much like James Gunn and Peter Safran at DC. James Gunn to the creative side, Peter Safran to the business side. I think that might be something they tackle here in Lucasfilm potentially. Now let's float out some names, and you can comment on them. Not sure you know much about some of them, but we'll see what we have to say.
Can I just give my pitch for who I think should?
Okay, yeah.
Bill Lawrence. I'm not joking.
I could not see that. I'm sorry. I love Bill Lawrence, but he's a comedy guy. I don't know if I could do him like
comedy guy. Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Shrinking, Scrubs.
There's drama in his comedies, but they're still sitcom kind of.
But the level of the drama in his comedies
doesn't translate to a big action adventure epic.
How do we know?
Well, I agree, but when he's never done anything like that before, do you put it? It's like putting a guy this guy's the MVP of his little league. Let's put him on the Yankees next year. Like,
but it's like it was either Jim Carrey or Robin Williams said this. To write a great comedy, you write a great drama, then you put the jokes on top.
I'm not saying he can't do it, but he's not ready to lead Lucasfilm and Star Wars at that point.
I don't know. I think he could do it.
He's
got Harrison Ford on speed dial.
A lot of people have Harrison Ford on speed dial.
Do they? I'm pretty sure that man doesn't even have a cell phone.
That could be true. Look, I love the moxie, and I love the chutzpah behind it. I love Bill Lawrence, but you need Brett Goldstein. You need somebody who has
and Brett. There you go.
A little more experience or has done it before. I don't think they're quite ready. Brett, I love Brett too, but I don't think Brett will be anywhere near ready for this kind of thing. Hire them at Lucasfilm to do something in Lucasfilm or Star Wars. I'd love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. Hire Bill to do a show. They got to get his feet wet and see what happens. Absolutely, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but not at the top of the ballpark there.
I would also love, just because Bill Lawrence always goes on Fake Doctors, Real Friends with Zach Braff and Donald Faison. I would love it if Bill Lawrence takes over Lucasfilm, goes on that show, and still doesn't give Donald Faison a live action part in Star Wars.
I was going to say that would actually be the case if we'd finally get Donald Faison in Star Wars. Hell, Zach Braff's already got it. Donald must be pissed. Even though it was an alien.
It's a common thing that comes up on the show.
Does it? I listen to some of the podcast. I've been seeing it all the time.
Yeah, it comes up quite a few times that Zach Braff has been the only one of the two to appear in a live action Star Wars.
All right, let's start
Donald was in the animated show that not a lot of people loved.
Right, Resistance. Yeah, I gotta watch. I still gotta watch the rest of Resistance. To be honest with you, I still haven't watched the second season. But okay, let's throw out the names that are the most obvious name, and what the report is who Disney wants to do it, replace Kennedy with, is Dave Filoni. That's been the name that's been brought up a lot. I don't love it. I don't think he's ready for it. But he's kind of got that. Got the seal of approval from George, seal of approval from Kathleen Kennedy. He's the George protege. He knows Star Wars like the back of his hand, whatever you want to say. I don't think he's ready. In fact, part of me would like to see him maybe have some help doing what he's doing. He was great overseeing animation.
Safran and Gunn, right?
Right.
You need the two. Him and Favreau might be the two.
Well, that is part of the thing that was brought up. If Dave is put in charge, he definitively needs somebody with him, because I don't think the business side of things would be his strong part. I would like to see Dave as a big creative person, but I also don't want him to be. I don't want him to be the end all be all. I feel like he can be, and this is again someone who loves Dave, loves everything he's done. Most everything he's done. Like the animated stuff has been great. His live action has been decent. I like it more than some people. He had some great Mandalorian episodes he's directed. I think Ahsoka was a decent show. I think he can be too precious with the material sometimes. He almost well, George wouldn't do this. Well, you know what? I get the feeling with that, but George isn't around anymore, and we do have to expand a little bit. This is not George's Star Wars anymore. We got to expand a little bit. Use that as a barometer to start with, and I'm not saying go out. We should be doing R-rated slasher Star Wars, or it should be all dark and gritty all the time. No, absolutely not. But there is a danger of getting too precious and too closed off and insular about things potentially. I think Dave sometimes can do that. So I think Dave would work best having somebody push back a little bit on that. You know what I mean? Have him work. I don't want Dave gone. I want Dave there. I just want Dave to have a little bit of a non-yes man kind of back and forth with somebody. That being said, Jon Favreau would be somebody to be pitched not only with Dave, but even on his own. Although I think he could do it. Obviously, he's at least partially responsible for launching the MCU as the director of Iron Man. He brought Star Wars back into big news with Mandalorian.
Did Chef?
He did Chef.
One of the greatest movies I ever seen. I love Chef.
I do too.
I watch it every time I fly. Every time I fly now, Chef is when you've got the last 90 minutes before the plane's about to descend. Chef is the one that I stick on. It's not a bad.
It's a good choice. It's a good choice. He's been an executive producer. He knows Star Wars pretty well. He's worked there for a while. He understands that he can work with everybody. The problem is he made a shit ton of money with Disney. He had a deal that is done now. I think I don't know if it's been went off, but like it's a lot more money than he ever would have made as the president of Lucasfilm, to be honest with you. So there's that to be said. And one observer, unnamed observer from one of the articles, there's articles on Hollywood Reporter, Variety. I'm taking a lot of this from different articles. I said he wouldn't want to be an executive, and so that kind of rules him out potentially. And I could see that. Beyond that,
sweeten the deal a little bit.
Yeah, a couple other names that were thrown out. J.J. Abrams was thrown out, and people basically said no, not going to happen. He had a little bit of enough of experience to Rise of Skywalker. He's like, I think he's done.
Yep, leave J.J. alone.
Emma Watts, who is an executive who was a long-time president of production of 20th Century Fox, including some of the X-Men movies and launching Deadpool. Avatar was first made under her tenure, when James Cameron was working with Fox on that. She is someone in the background who could definitely fill in that business side of things, I think, pretty well. Could see that. Hannah Minghella, who has worked with Bad Abrams. She's an former Abrams employee.
Bad Robot.
Bad Robot, yeah. She has a lot of experience through live action and animation. She worked at Sony with a lot of the family-friendly stuff, like Cloud with the Chance of Meatballs, Hotel Transylvania, Jumanji, Goosebumps. She's recently been running Netflix feature animation and live action family divisions since last summer. But she's someone who could probably get the business side of things done potentially. Other names that were thrown at one point. These weren't speculation. These are more possibilities that they're out there. David Heyman, who did the Harry Potter series for a long time. Legendary Entertainment's Mary Perrin, who oversees both the Dune and Godzilla franchises. There's something potentially business-wise to do. And then some interesting name, or I dropped the other big one that they've talked about, is Peter Rice, who was fired by Bob Chapek in 2022 in a widely panned move. He helped develop X-Men and has a relationship with top actors and writers, directors. He had a lot of great relationships at Disney. It might be a kind of a win-win. He comes back and they love that. I think that's a potential possibility as well.
Just do it out of spite.
Now, yeah, exactly. And then the big name that was dropped was Kevin Feige. Jumping from Marvel to Star Wars. Reason being, Marvel's been kind of in a little bit of a rut also. So you're trading one rut for another potentially. But he does love Star Wars to the point where he actually had something in development at one point. He could see Star Wars as easier. I mean, because Marvel right now, he's overseeing a shit ton of stuff. There's a lot of more Marvel going on than there is Star Wars going on. So maybe stepping back and putting him into a role where he has a little less to oversee. You could see the revival of Kevin Feige. I'll say Christian Harloff said this on the channel the other day, and I actually agree with him on this one. He likened it to Theo Epstein of the Red Sox. I don't know. Do you know? You know baseball very well, do you? Probably not. This is not Ken Napps I'm talking to.
It's essentially the same thing.
All right. Theo Epstein was the general manager of the Red Sox when they broke the curse. They hadn't won since 2018. And he became the GM. They won the World Series in 2004. They won again in 2007. He left, and then he went and joined the Chicago Cubs, who was another franchise that had lost forever. And then he won the first World Series for them in like 108 years. So he basically broke that curse. So that would kind of like what Kevin Feige does. He does Marvel, has a big success, leaves and goes to Star Wars and could revitalize it and have another big success. Potentially. Now,
he's doing Marvel at the same time. Let the man see his kids, for fuck's sake.
Well, the idea would be he was leaving Marvel to do Star Wars, potentially. Now,
have they got something lined up for him to replace him at Marvel?
I don't know, but there's a good possibility, potentially. We don't know. It depends on what he wants to do. Now, the argument against it and why it probably won't happen is that, if it was going to be done, it probably should have been done after Endgame. Now you got a mess he wants to clean up. And B, he's also a huge X-Men fan. And he's finally gotten the chance. He's getting the chance now to play with the X-Men. So he might want to, I could see him definitely wanting to stick around and do that first. So say it's not a 0% chance, but I think it's probably unlikely. It would be exciting, though. It would definitely be exciting because as much as Marvel has maybe floundered a little bit as far as the personalities go and as far as public discourse has gone, because of the things I said before, like the lesser amount of projects to oversee on Star Wars, it will be interesting to see if he could kind of revitalize himself that way and new breath of fresh air, kind of new environment, new thing, new challenge, new kind of thing. And he's done it before. So it could be kind of cool to see if that could work. I don't think it's the way, though. I think it's going to be Dave Filoni. I think Carrie Beck is probably the other one who potentially will be there.
I think I know who it is.
I will say, before you say that, I will say Carrie Beck's the other one who would probably be she's not a well-known name, and that's why the trades aren't naming her, but she is the VP of Lucasfilm, and she's definitely been someone with Kathleen. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's Filoni and Beck. But go ahead with I have a dark horse to throw out there that I haven't seen a trade mentioned either. I mentioned it to Christian, and Christian kind of that's a possibility.
So
go ahead.
The Kathleen Kennedy news came out 3 days ago, right?
Right.
Posted 4 days ago.
I can't see what that is.
Hideo Kojima wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, working on a laptop.
I don't see Hideo Kojima doing that, but hey. Hey, that'd be cool.
He would drop everything. Everything.
But has he ever produced a movie?
I mean, most of his games are pretty much movies.
Well,
the cutscenes are like 2 hours long.
It's like saying the football manager's going to go manage the baseball team now. Like, you can be a big fan of it, but like, I can't see that happening. As much as you love Hideo Kojima,
everyone loves him. Everyone loves him.
Sure.
And then we would finally, with if Kojima took over, we would get his best friend, Guillermo del Toro. We would get the Jabba the Hutt movie.
That's potentially true. I don't see it happening because of that particular thing. I don't think again. This is not like you're running the mill studio. This is like IP gold. Disney's not going to turn over the keys of the kingdom to someone who's never produced a movie before. Even as cool as Hideo Kojima is.
He is.
Could he do it
with A24?
Could he? Probably. Absolutely could. But they're not going to do it again. First time. That's not your first job.
Every movie would be about 12 hours long, and there would be like no edits.
Okay, here is my dark horse candidate that I haven't seen mentioned, but I wouldn't be surprised, and I am mixed on it, but I could see it happen, and that's Simon Kinberg. It would make sense on a lot of levels for many reasons. First of all, perhaps that's why Simon Kinberg is coming in right away to do this trilogy. I mean, the underlying sense is he's doing this trilogy, and she's grooming him to take over. Disney would love it because why is one of the things I mentioned about him taking over? He gets deals made, he gets jobs done quickly, things come out, product comes out. And I don't like saying content product, we're art first, always art first. Disney's not, though. There's the shareholders that got to get things done. Kinberg is one who gets shit done. However, I also should say is the guy we talked about last episode we were on that was just hired, knows Christian and has that background with him. He's been Simon Kinberg's right-hand man for a long time. He's now a VP in there. Maybe they're getting his ducks in a row, so he's getting his people in there before the announcement happens, potentially. Throwing that out there. Third piece of the puzzle for me, and this is the one I kind of do like. You have to remember, Kinberg has worked very well with Dave Filoni on Star Wars Rebels, on Star Wars products. All the Star Wars stuff has been a success. So
isn't he like a Tony Gilroy disciple?
I don't believe he's a Gilroy disciple, but I think he works along some of the same people that Gilroy has worked with at some point.
There's a working relationship there.
I believe so. I don't know that one for sure. I don't want to talk out of turn, so I don't want to confirm or deny that. Go through one. But I just saying, throwing it out there, that I think that is a dark horse, and we might be setting it up. And they may be telling us without even telling. They might be telling it out there, putting it out there in the space without even letting us know it's out there in a way. So that to me is my dark horse. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kinberg in charge. Dave stays in his exact role, which basically becomes Star Wars consultant, but Kinberg has a direct final say. And then you have his vice president be the guy who all of a sudden becomes his right-hand man. So I don't know. That's what I think could happen. I mean, some people did throw out there Tony Gilroy taking it over, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Let him go do some stuff with Apple for a bit, I reckon.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. But that would make sense to me. That would be surprised. And I would say, but to go back real quick before I finish up this conversation, the Kevin Feige thing. You asked who would take over Kevin Feige, and this is, I would throw it out there. I am not a pundit. I don't know all the ins and outs of things, but I will say someone who's been very, forthcoming lately, put forth a face is the guy who's been doing the TV for them, Brad Winterbaum. He's been doing a lot of interviews and talking about things behind the scenes. I would be surprised if he's being groomed potentially to be the next Kevin Feige at Marvel. So maybe that might be what's going on there. I don't know for sure. That's
what if they just swap?
But
Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy just swap over.
But actually, the funniest thing would be if Kathleen Kennedy retires and her twin sister Connie takes over. That would be great.
Or Frank Marshall takes over.
Frank Marshall takes over. Absolutely. But yeah, so that it is my bet, and you can. I want to hear your news since this is obviously speculation, and it's mostly responsible speculation. If she's retired, my money is on a Filoni Beck combination, which I don't think would be the way to go. I'd rather see it do something else. To be completely honest, if I'm completely honest, if that does happen, I don't think you're going to get much of a change, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in some people, but it wouldn't be the kind of breath of fresh air that I'm saying. If you're gonna change, let's change. You know what I mean?
It'd be a gut check to a lot of the red eyes, I think.
100%.
Once people realize it being under Filoni is not going to be much different.
Right. Exactly. So Filoni Beck that's where my money is if I had to bet, but I would definitely not be shocked if the Kinberg side of things that I pitched is the way it's going down as well. I don't think Feige's doing it. Would I be absolutely gobsmacked if it was? No. I would be surprised, but I would be kind of like, okay, all right, that does make sense. I would be surprised if it's Favreau. And the other names that were pitched out there, definitely not Abrams. I'd be shocked if it's Abrams. I would be.
No way.
And Watan and Miguel, those I don't know enough about as far as understanding what they would want to do. Is that potentially out there? One other name that was thrown out, I can't remember where I saw it. I don't know if it was an article or it was just some random Yahoo. If it's some random Yahoo, then I apologize for even putting it out there. But somebody threw out John Watts also.
No.
Potentially. I just don't think he's ready for that kind of role yet either. I don't think he's experienced enough at the role. I think he's somewhere he could get to there eventually. There's someone who could do it if he has more experience underneath him, but he's not much more experienced than other people. So, again, my money basically floating back, Kinberg being a very dark horse but strong second for me. What about you? What are your thoughts? Initial thoughts, or gut check thoughts?
You're going to announce it in Japan. There's only one man for the job. Only one man for the job.
If they announce Hideo Kojima,
oh my God, could you imagine?
In Japan, and if they do, I will eat my hat on screen.
It's probably not going to happen, but just imagine if they did.
It would be funny that way.
He's currently making a Death Stranding movie with A24. Okay. He's making 3 video games, and then suddenly he's just like, "Yeah, I'm the big dog at Lucasfilm now."
It is funny. It is a funny thought.
I would be jumping on the live stream with you straight away, just like I told you. No, I think out of all of them, Kimberg's probably the safe bet.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that is all for that piece of news. Interesting conversations to be had. Definitely interesting things to see what happened. Again, I've been crowing it for a long time. I think Celebration is going to be a big place of news. At this point, I think it might be the biggest celebration news-wise that we've had in a long time. I don't know if it's not, I'm not going to eat my hat, but I will be very surprised. And honestly, I'll throw it out there. I will be disappointed, and I know it's a disappointment of my own making because I'm doing that thing where I'm wanting it to be something, and they got to do what they have to do, what they're planning on doing. But I will be disappointed if we don't get a couple of big news pieces there.
So I will say a lot of people that I've spoken to that are going, we do, and I'm one of these people that feels this way. A lot of us have the same kind of reaction of Celebration kind of comes second or third for this trip. Like a lot of people that I know who are going, myself included, are more like, it's because it's in Japan. And it's like somewhere that a lot of us have always wanted to go.
Right.
And it's a whole new thing. Like, people there are going to be going nuts because the Japanese love everything pop culture. It's a whole different world there. And it just seems like, this Star Wars celebration of it all is kind of like just being overshadowed a little bit. Like everyone's just like, oh yeah, we're all going to Japan. Oh yeah, and celebration's happening too. Like I've heard more people excited that they're going to Disney than they're going to Celebration.
Okay. Well,
I will not be going to Disney.
Okay, that's fine. Depending on that, I mean that aside, your expectations of what you want to do or your excitement about it. What do you think about the news being there, though? Do you think the news is not going to be there?
I don't think we get. I think we get some. I'm more thinking we're going to get a couple big things as opposed to like a lot of little things. Because I think that, like we said, they are still in that kind of figuring out what the hell they're going to do.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going to be like, this is coming, this big thing's coming, this big thing's coming, this big thing's coming. And then maybe a few little bits underneath.
Well, we'll save that conversation because we do have a couple of weeks after our Andor watch through. Before Celebration starts, we'll probably do a preview of Celebration, our predictions of Celebration. So there, I will talk about that more there. I will drop one little piece of prediction there just because it is tied into this news thing we're talking about with Kathleen Kennedy. I don't think the announcement comes there. Just so you know, I don't think that's the announcement comes, even though some people suggest it is. I would be surprised. I give it a chance. My chance is that it's like there's a 10 to 15% chance that the announcement happens at Celebration.
I don't think she's going to go before. Here's my thing. I don't think she goes before 2027.
27. Okay, interesting.
I think she'll stick around for the 50th.
Okay, that's potentially true. I
don't know. I just got a feeling it's just like it's 2 years away.
I initially thought maybe she would stay through till Mando and Grogu came out, like a last movie gets in there and then you leave. But her name's still on there, so she's technically still around. It's interesting to say. I don't know.
If Rain Roberts was supposed to I think if Rain Roberts was still there, she'd have gone because it's just like, okay, success is there, I can bounce.
Right.
But now that Rain Roberts is gone, I think they're probably going to be looking around for someone new.
Yeah.
So I think they'll probably give it a couple of years and then she'll be like, all right, we found someone. Now I can go. And it's the 50th year past the baton.
I mean, there was one interesting part of the article that I read that I didn't really mention, and I'll touch base on it really quick before I move on, is that it did state that Disney was going to have a hand in picking, or Disney was going to be more in charge of picking her successor. Like they mentioned that obviously George handpicked Kathleen to succeed her. And a lot of times these studio heads will kind of have a say, like they'll be ones who find their own successors. It did say that Disney's going to have more of a say, but that might just be, it might be a language thing because technically Disney had no say in Kathleen Kennedy because George basically put her in charge and then sold Disney and said, you're keeping her in charge as part of the deal. Now Disney does have the right to be involved more, and maybe Kathleen won't have as much of a say because it's out there. We don't know. This is the most irresponsible speculation. So I'm going to touch base on it just because it is potentially true. We don't know how much of this is Kathleen Kennedy, and is this a mutual thing? Does Disney say, you know what, let's try some new blood in here as well? And let's see. I mean, I think Kathleen Kennedy deserves. I'm not throwing it out there that she's being fired. I'm not saying that at all. I don't think she is. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that Disney's like, you know what? It'd be kind of a good time. It'd be a good time to shake things up a little bit, kind of thing, to see what we can do. And maybe they're behind the scenes saying, you know what? I want to have more say in who we're going to work with for the next 10 years, for example, potentially. So that's out there a little bit. That does not decry any of her legacy as far as I'm concerned. And she absolutely deserves to go out on her own volition, and I'm hoping that's the case entirely. But it is kind of out there. I just want to throw it out there potentially. So, all right. So we're done with that. Let's get into the rest of our bits. The best of our bit includes mostly Andor season 2. The trailer dropped. And you know what? I'm going to take this actually scene down here. We're going to go over the trailer bit by bit. Let's talk first real quick about the other bit of news that dropped with the Andor season 2 thing coming. The release package, as it were.
I like it.
The release date, we're getting 3 episodes a week for 4 weeks. I'll throw it out there that we knew all along that these were done in 3-episode arcs. We knew that 3 episodes, every 3 episodes was a year, and they're going to cut through, and that's what that's going to be. The idea that we're releasing it that way is new. That we're going to have 3 per week. And I have a couple of thoughts as a content creator. I hate it. Because it means we have to dive into it deep and get through it and then cover 3 episodes when 3 episodes is tough to get through as far as critically goes. I can watch them, no problem, but critically going through and trying to get the real deep dive that we do, that sucks. And I feel really bad for the reactors who have to try to get them done. Awful for them.
I feel bad for you for having to edit their videos.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what's going to be. I'm wondering how it's going to be. But thanks. I'm already going to be busy enough that week. So I don't love that aspect of it. And there's a part of me also that's like, I kind of wanted to savor it a bit more. Like, I like the idea of 3, but like, it's like now it's 4 weeks and then we're done with Andor. And like, I don't know if I love that, to be honest with you. I understand why they're doing it. It's definitely a strategy potential. They did that with Cobra Kai, dropping 5. Although
God, what a season.
They did it with like 5 months in between. So that I didn't like that aspect of it, potentially. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Here's how I've chosen to look at it. And this is how I was talking to Adam from Thank the Maker the other day about it. We are getting a Star Wars movie every week for 4 weeks.
Yeah. A high quality Star Wars movie.
High quality Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Every week for 4 weeks. I see no problem.
That is absolutely one way to look at it. And I definitely appreciate that as well. I do love the fact that they are one story. Those arcs are one story each. That makes a lot of sense. And I get it. I've been more of the mindset. I've talked about this probably in this show and other shows as well. I loved when binging first started. Like, I mean, Stranger Things is really one of the first ones that kind of just dropped everything. I was like, holy shit, I can watch this all in one weekend. But over time, I have come more to rediscover and love more of the weekly show because it
used to be when we were growing up, right?
Exactly. That's how we would grow up. It's the water cooler moments. You get to like talk about it more because now I can binge something and then it's out of the conversation. Like, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on Stranger Things season 3 or whatever, and it was out of the zeitgeist in like a week. Everybody watched it and it was done. That's it. Now, like, when you release it by thing, you have the comment, oh, what's coming up next? Oh, that's cool. I prefer going backwards and speculating about, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen at the end of this arc? Well, we know now. And again, after 4 weeks, it's like, especially with Star Wars, because we know we have nothing right now until between Andor season 2 and Mandalorian and Grogu over a year later. And nothing Star Wars planned then after that. Visions was that's true. I guess it hasn't been officially announced the air date or release date, but it is supposed to be 2025. And quite honestly, predictions aside, we'll talk about them again more later. I think we're going to get an animated series probably the fall as well. I think we're going to get that project probably going to happen, or
before the animated series,
before Mandalorian and Grogu. No, I think there's another one taking place.
Oh, you mean 2026?
I think it could be between 2025 and 2026. We can get it in the fall. We could get it December. But I think before Mando and Grogu comes out in May, whatever the new animated product is going to be. But so yeah, I kind of wanted to savor it a little bit, not gonna lie. But okay, do. We're gonna cover it like we're gonna cover Andor season 1. We're gonna do the same thing. Actually, that works out as far as this podcast goes. Starting next week, we're watching Andor season 1 in 3 episode blocks. We're gonna cover it just like that. So that's gonna be the next season, first season of Andor. Then we'll do a couple episodes, including one preview. We'll do a celebration recap. We're going to do Andor right after that, Andor season 2 in 4 blocks. We're going to finish up finally. We're going to go with Rogue One. I didn't even pitch this to you yet, but I think, what the hell, Rogue One. Then maybe we'll do episode 4 afterwards as a rewatch because it goes right into it, right? It's like, it's Rogue One sequel right after Rogue One, as it were. So, all right, let's get into the actual trailer. We're going to break it down bit by bit, but you know what? I'll go back real quick. What are your thoughts? What were your overall thoughts initially? Just like, we'll get them out of the way, and we'll get into the actual bit by bit.
I'll start with love. I thought it was very action-packed. I thought it's a completely different tone to the season 1 trailer. But I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to get out of the way. Don't like the song. I am all for using music in trailers. For Star Wars, all for it. I could have picked a million better songs than this song. I get what it's about. I get it's the revolution starts now. I get it's a very political song. It's a very ballsy move for Disney to put a song like this on a show like this in the climate that we're in now. I just think there's so many better songs. And this song came out in what, 2003,
17.
4?
No, is it 3? I'm not sure where it's from. Let me see, actually.
Yeah, like there's so many artists out right now that are putting out great, like politically charged protest music that you could have pulled in like someone new. I don't know, and it just like it lacked the song for me.
2004.
2004. Okay, yeah, they went all the way back to 2004. I'm just like, the song lacked that bite that this show has got, and I'm just, it's like a country rock. I just don't music. This is purely musical taste. I don't like that kind of rock music.
Okay. Well, that's fair. You're not liking that, because I think otherwise you're absolutely wrong on every other aspect of it, but that's okay. I think the guy who he spoke out against Bush in the Iraq War, he called Trump a fascist in 2017.
Definitely all for that.
Calling for war. The song really just calls for war to start right in your own backyard. It is the absolute depiction of what Andor is. Just a different world, just a different galaxy far, far away. It is a perfectly suited song. I am, by the way, I used to be one of those no music but John Williams for Star Wars. That's how I was for a long time. I've gotten over that a little bit. I don't love the music in Star Wars though. Like, I'm still not like completely won over by that. Like, I was kind of okay with the bit in Ahsoka when Sabine was listening to a little bit of rock on her
stuff
bike.
like that.
That was fine. Yeah. That was fine. The Acolyte. I didn't love having the Acolyte theme song at the end be the one with the lyric. But this is for a trailer. So for a trailer, I'm all for it. I'm absolutely fine for it. It's completely fine. And I love the swagger of this song that matches Andor's swagger in this. So not only is it politically the right song for what they're trying to go for, not only is it just exactly what the show is trying to get at, but it fits the depiction of the swagger of the actual trailer itself, of what's trying to happen. So me personally, I liked it when I first saw it. My first time I watched it, I was a little taken aback. Wasn't ready for it. Second time I liked it. Third time I liked it a lot. And fourth, after talking to Ken, listening to Ken on Force Center, I was fired up when Ken got fired up about it. Ken got so fired up about it, I got like even more psyched about it. Like listening to him be psyched about it. Sometimes that can be catchy and contagious. And I watched it again after that. I was like, yeah, this is fucking balls. I love it. I love them all in now.
I'm all for the theme and the messaging and everything that Steve O stands for.
Right.
1,000,000,000% for that. It's just the sound of the country butt rock. Something in it just like scratches a nerve in my brain. I'm like, turn it up, get it off. It's the same with like bands like Creed, like a Nickelback. Just get away from me. I don't want to hear it.
All right, that's fine, I guess. I disagree with you entirely, but that's all right.
About Creed and Nickelback, or about this song?
About this song.
Okay.
Creed and Nickelback. All right, I'm gonna throw it out there. You might hate me for it. Creed and Nickelback, I don't hate as much as other people do. Like, I don't love it. I don't really I won't like turn it on necessarily, but it's on the radio. I'll whatever. I'll sing along. I'm not gonna. I won't turn it off. Let's put it that way.
Put the trailer back up. I'm pretend I didn't hear that. Just put the trailer back up.
I don't love it. I'm fans of them. I think there's overhated. I think everybody overhates them too much. They're just bland corporate rock, whatever.
You welcome them with arms wide open. I get
it. Not ears are not completely wide open, but they're not closed.
I'm of the opinion they were torturing Bix in season 1 with Creed through the headphones.
I know you definitely have strong feelings there. And I get that. It's all good. All right, I'm not going to play this song because I don't want to hurt your ears. But also, I just don't want to get a copyright strike because it's definitely striking. But I want to try to play and.
Well, if he's as anti-corporation as he says he is, he would have allowed people to use the song. I guess he's a hypocrite too.
I don't think he had to say. I think the music studio who he is beholden to probably.
If he's with a major label that's not very anti-corporation of it.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! All right, shut your mouth. Let's go. Let's do this. All right, let's do it. So I love how it opens. Boom, 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 Boom. Andor walking. All these different spots.
And Bix too in the hood.
It looks like and Bix, yep. But it looks like they're just walking like different arcs. These are all like different arcs and time jumping forward what we're doing. A lot of cool places there. Right away, we're in a war you want to fight. I love it. Let's get through it. Where's that?
So this looks like the concept art for Dantooine.
That could be right. You know, it also looks a little like though.
Nebraska.
Lothal.
Oh, yeah,
a little bit Lothal.
Iowa.
Remind me a little bit maybe of Iadu actually too, a little bit potentially. And then Iadu is more green, but it is farmland, so I would be surprised if there's a spot on there. Iadu does make sense with the old Andor coming up with the Urso side of things, potentially. Throwing it out there, potentially. See that right there? I don't know. Could be a lot of different places, huh? Could be a lot of different places. Love this. Love Cassian in this tie. What's it called?
This is the TIE Avenger. That is the that's the prototype for the TIE the outfit he's wearing.
Right.
Is the prototype for the TIE pilot's suit. So it's still like a very new kind of a suit. So it looks like it's in the time that they're still still developing the TIEs. Right. But I love this shot. When have we seen like a missile? Like it's almost like a sidewinder missile shot that you'd see in like Top Gun.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know how it's shot? It kind of reminds me a little bit of Hoth, though, too.
Yeah,
it's kind of like from a cockpit kind of shot.
From the side. Yeah,
I think just a little bit to the side, though, going down. I love that, like seeing it go down as it goes right through explosion. Love that. Really playing on the critically acclaimed part. They're saying, "Hey, remember this?
Critics loved it.
This is the one that everybody loved. This is what everyone loved. Come back to Disney Plus for this one. I get the marketing for that. There's Saw, more unhinged. There you go. Now, speculation's out there. The one I agree with speculation because that's my first thought. This has got to be her daughter's wedding, right?
Hold that thought because I have a kind of a prediction.
An alternate theory? Okay.
No, not a theory, just a little bit of a prediction added on, but
okay. It's either that or like I think it's a
Taryn's wake. To the wedding. That's why everyone's so happy.
Son of a bitch. I get it though. I get it. I think it's either the wedding or it's perhaps like attached to the wedding, some kind of Chandelian like religious ceremony or something for.
Yeah, I think it looks like a wedding reception to me. Everyone's all dressed to the nines, and she's kind of like looking on, just kind of like shit.
By the way, when I put this on the old X on Blue Sky, when this spot happened in the trailer, it's first for like the second half. I was like, is that Polly Damon?
Molly could pull off Mon Mothma for sure, yeah.
So, confiscated by the Atlantic. Okay, there is like one of the only. She is barely in this teaser trailer. Have you noticed that?
Smoked in the first arc.
You think so?
I think so.
First arc. I hope not. I really hope not.
I have a theory why that kind of I have like backup to like substantiate my theory, but we'll get there a little bit later on in the trailer.
I hope you're wrong. I mean, I do think
I'm wrong.
I think he's going to die in this series because it doesn't make sense that he's not there for anything else afterwards. Mm-hmm. However, I would like to see him go all the way to the end. I hope he dies at the last arc. That's got to be.
Well, we know he meets Krennic, right?
Yes, we do know that from part of the trailers. We definitely know that for sure.
And from interviews, from when Ben Mendelsohn said that he has a scene with him.
That's right. This just badass. Love it. Just typical badass.
That looks like the ISB headquarters. Oh, there he is.
And there he is. Just see that. What a swell part. That looks so good. Let's go back a little bit though. Yeah, that does look like ISB potentially. It's definitely very like 80s action when they do this for sure. Yeah,
the walking away and that dude.
There is a swag, like I mentioned before, the music. There's a swagger to this trailer, and my son actually said that's when he was talking. He loved the trailer too, and he said like it feels like this season is more not necessarily upbeat in terms of like emotional wise, but like they're starting to fight back. This is where like those things are going to get more like. I don't know, confidence is the right word, but they get more confident in themselves and fighting back. They're not just running away at this point. They're not just trying to survive. They are starting to actually fight back. And they got that kind of action swagger going on. And I think that's part of the reason why we're going to see this episode. By the time this series ends, Cassian is pretty confident what he's doing at that point.
Go back a couple of frames real quick.
Yeah.
Before the explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Canary Wharf. That's the ISB building.
Right? Yeah,
That's Canary Wharf in London. That's where they film. Yeah, that is definitely the ISB. They're gonna bomb the ISB. Sick.
Oh, there it goes. Love it.
Krennic.
Oh yeah, there. Where's Krennic? Love Krennic. Here's Saw's area, I think.
Yeah, those are the partisans.
Partisans. I don't know who this is. Hopefully that's not
some unlucky schmuck.
Hopefully that's not Stellan Skarsgård. Now, this actually looks a little like Dakar, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
I'd be surprised. Maybe that's something that goes on there. But yeah, it looks like they're leaving, and the partisans are leaving.
I love that like modified Republic gunship in the middle.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
Love that.
Prestige drama.
Oh, that right there.
This is my theory.
Okay.
Look at how she's grabbing him, and like look at how she looks. She's like looking like she's like pleading, and she's pissed.
Yeah. So what is that? See, that doesn't. I don't think the explosion in this are the same. I think that's a quick cut. I think there's something else. I don't know.
No, this is. Yeah. I think this is a different art, but from the way she's like looking at him and like grabbing him on the jacket, I think something happened to Luthen, and she's like trying to plead with him to like do something or
right. That could be.
Get him to snap out of it.
That could be. Absolutely could be. I love that follows up with there he is, our boy with the full beard. Brasso with a full beard there. I love that. Yep. Looking like he's fighting back there still. Where's give him Marva again. Let him smack him around with Marva.
Yeah, with the brick.
Yeah. Different kind of troopers.
Stick. So I was talking to Mike Forrester from Hondo Supply and Armor Party about this. These are a lot of different trooper armor all like condensed into one. He thinks it's a new kind of ISB uniform, like kind of like a version of SWAT. So they're not the military, but they're not the cops. They're like something in the middle, because there's a load of like different, like there's mud trooper armor panels in there. There's like your casual stormtrooper out, and you see Cyril at the back there. He's wearing an ISB uniform, but he's got like armor over it.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
So it looks like it's kind of like a SWAT team.
So they seeking out Cassian, maybe, or is he going to?
Yeah, because that's the same corridor as the start of the trailer.
Yep. There's Dedra not having a good day. There's Krennic, and there's
Davos.
I forget his name.
Davos Golden.
Thank you. Golden, exactly. So I wonder, but there's also ISB here. That looks like Mothma right there.
I don't think that is ISB. I think because if you go back to Krennic's quote when he's looking at the Death Star.
What a small part of this is. No, that's what I was getting to. I think that this is maybe at the religious or wedding thing. I think ISB is crashing the wedding, I think.
Here's my big thing. Okay. I think we're going to get the Star Wars Red Wedding.
Oh, wow. Well, interesting. Okay, well,
and I think it's going to tie in with the. I think they're going to hold the wedding on Gorman, and the Gorman massacre is going to be Gorman massacre is going to be Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding, and that's what pushes her over.
Maybe does she go? Does Perrin and the daughter go potentially?
Maybe.
We didn't. I mean, it is kind of strange. That, I mean, it's strange, but it's not that we don't know. That we didn't know she had a daughter or husband like throughout the entirety of this entire thing, like before. Then again, you think we only had her for episode 6 and then a little bit of Rebels. So I guess in a way,
her daughter showed up in a book.
Did she?
A legend. Yeah, she mentioned she has a daughter in a Legends book, but we didn't know about Perrin. Right. But like, it just seems like him being at the wedding. It seems like he would have Perrin maybe invited him,
right?
But he's got like ulterior, because you see the way he's looking at her. It's like very like.
You know what would be kind of cool and maybe potentially badass and actually kind of Andorish? What if Krennic takes her daughter hostage as a way to we're going to control you. You're not going to be outspoken against us anymore, blah, blah, blah. Maybe. And we're going to take you hostage. And Mon Mothma's response is, I love my daughter, but I don't bargain with terrorists in a way. I don't bargain with tyranny. I'm going to fight even more now. Her response is to quit the Senate and join the rebellion full time at that point after the Gorman massacre. Yeah, I would. I was surprised.
I get the feeling we got a red wedding scenario coming.
Wouldn't be surprised. All right, good choice, good call. Let's see what else we got here. That's a cool
This
shot.
is a sick shot.
That's high.
Everyone on LSD.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Woo.
They're dancing like they're on LSD.
Mon Mothma getting down.
Not that I've ever taken LSD.
Right, of course. Mon Mothma getting down for sure. Let's see what we got right there. More hyperspace. Oh, that's what
I love that droid. The photographer droid.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. Cool. There's Dab again, and that's Andor right over there, by the way. Like to the left. That's Andor in his outfit at the end. We'll go back.
That doesn't look like him. It looks too.
I don't know.
Too skinny. He looks too skinny.
I think it is that Andor.
Huh? Maybe. Looks a bit too skinny.
Yeah, I think it might be just the way it's shot.
Maybe. But that droid reminds me of, you ever see it like award ceremonies where they do the 10-second like slow-mo videos?
Yep.
Reminds me of that kind of.
Where'd you go? Is it a little bit further? I'll try to pause it again the right time. Oh, yeah, he's behind the girl there, but I think that might be Andor. I think
that's on Coruscant too.
Could be. I don't know for sure.
Coruscant on Chandrila.
Yeah, either way. Or, yeah. Well, there's Davo again, of course, and I can't tell. There's Mon Mothma. I don't know. Is that?
That's Perrin.
That is Perrin. Okay.
Yeah, you can tell from the back that's Perrin.
Yeah, so a lot of cool things happen there potentially. All right. There's our boy.
K2.
I'm just glad to see him back for sure. That's another cool shot. It's actually kind of Rise of Skywalker-ish shot wise. But really
Red
cool.
Eye's gonna love that. Bix being rescued again.
Yeah.
This is cool. The Imperial riot troopers. This to me looks like some kind of construction vehicle that Blasco's just decided to take over.
And use. Yeah, like that. There's our boy there, Cyril. Is that more of the massacre potentially?
Yeah, I think so. He always has a way of showing up at these things.
Poor guy. Melcy there. Melcy. He's not going to die. That much we know because he's in Rogue One.
Well, spoiler alert, he is just not in this.
Well, in this series, I meant, yeah, absolutely. There, look at our girl there taking over. I don't know where this is necessarily.
So, from what I've been told by people in the costuming community, these are Chandrilan robes. Okay, the blue robes are very Chandrilan robes. So, I don't know if it's she's losing her shit.
Is that what he's wearing there? Can't tell potentially.
I don't know. That just looks like he's wearing some kind of sweater.
Potentially. I don't know. It's hard.
Can't really see enough of it.
Yeah. Just thought I'd gone down there because that's obviously his aide there is wearing it and things are there. Where is it? Did I go too far again? Play again. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. And yep. Yeah. So those are the blue robes there. We are in Chandrila probably at that point.
Yeah, I think we are.
Could be Coruscant still because I don't know they go off Coruscant very much. We'll have to see. More coolers for the tie. That's got to be a big scene.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Andor. Oh yeah, there's some big moments there. A lot of that. Of course, we got Mom. You got Mama.
For some reason, this shot here. For some reason, I thought this was Jeremy Strong.
I get that. Obviously makes sense. Absolutely. Now, I love this. Nobody has pointed this out except for me. I think maybe I missed, unless I missed an article. I'm not trying to claim anything. This looks like the guy. I'm so bad with names. This is why I don't do well. This is why I didn't do well in the showdown at the end there. Why I wouldn't be able to do because I can't remember names off the top of my head. The son of the shop owner. The shop owner gets killed on Bix's boss or whatever, and he gets killed, and he becomes a revolutionary. He's the one who bombs them at the end. He starts the bombs and kid. Yeah, that's what this guy looks like to me. I think that's actually him, and Saw gets a hold of him. It makes sense.
Radicalized him
because he was already pretty radicalized already. He was already doing bombs at the end. He's the one that partially started off the riot to a degree.
We'll call him Luigi for the sake of this
Luigi,
video.
Yeah, it's like Willem or something like that, or something like that effect. But I think that's who that is. Not a Willem Dafoe. I'd love to see Willem Dafoe in Star Wars, though.
Unreal.
It's very unhinged Saw at this point, but very much where he is. And of course, just a great moment there at the end.
Suave son
of a bitch, April 22nd. There we are, folks. There we are. So I love the trailer. I love the teaser. I love the tone of it overall. I think it is a little more, it's going to be a little more upbeat in that it's going to be more action oriented. not upbeat
Yeah.
in terms of like it's still gonna be depressing as hell, I think, because we are still fighting fascism and the fascism is winning at this point still. But we're making our first little dents, and we're getting people rallied up, and we're gonna have some definitely some good moments, I think.
So I also have another reason why I think that they're doing it in the 4-episode
444.
spurts. I don't know who mentioned it. I wish I could give credit, but apparently the Emmy, that the deadline to submit for the Emmys is May 25th.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who said it. I can't remember. I'm sorry if whoever's watching, if it was your thing, but apparently the Emmy, the deadline to submit something for an Emmy is May 25th.
That could be. That could be. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe that's why they want to do it and give it an actual Emmy and make it work. That's actually true. That's some definitely a possibility for sure. Still don't love it. I still don't love it. Doesn't matter why they do it. I still don't love it. But I mean, it is what it is, and we're going to cover it the way we cover everything. Just in 3-episode arc. That's all. We can't do it the way we do every individual episode because then we'd be here for 3 hours. So we'll do it just the arc wise, like we did a couple of times before when they're double episodes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait for it. We're very, very close. A little over a month away.
I do like Kyle Katarn's countdowns that he does every day.
I'm very thankful for Kyle Katarn's count time. Like, oh, cool, 55 days. All right, cool. It leaves me to not have to count.
And then the next day, you're like, whoa, it's only 54. I can't believe it's getting close. It's just like, wait, he said it was 55 yesterday.
So of course, 54 now. Exactly. Every time I see it, I'm more like, oh wow, but I shouldn't be that either. I agree. It's like one more day. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to cover it with you. I'm going to watch it again. I'm looking forward to new Star Wars. It feels like Skeleton Crew just ended. But here we are. Got another Star Wars. It kind of did. Yeah, it's about a month ago now. Get Andor season 2 to come in, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be freaking sweet. So I'm all in. I think that's going to do it for this week, guys. Next week, we will begin our recap, our rewatch of Andor. We're going to do that just like they're going to release these. We're going to watch Andor season 1, episodes 1, 2, and 3, and cover them next week in our rewatch, along, of course, with any news that drops. Maybe Kathleen Kennedy's successor will be announced. Who knows? Probably not. But
once it get announced as soon as we're done.
That would be our curse. We're not Force Center. We're not cursed like that.
They've been pretty good with it.
They have been pretty good. Better. We've been going live on Monday sometimes. It kind of makes it a little easier for them. But either way. All right, but that'll do it for us this week, folks. Matty, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on all social media at Matty Morner. You can find my band Morner at Morner Band on all social media and on all streaming platforms.
All right. Find me at Paul_News on the old Blue Sky. That's where I mainly hang out. I'm still getting news on Twitter, so you might see me there, but generally Blue Sky is where I like to be. To be all over this channel. Of course, we got a lot of stuff going on with the channel. This is every week, Holy Snokes. I get review every other week with me and Lego doing the V franchise. Me and PJ doing 2 Meter White Dudes on Film, which is soon to be renamed. If you want to know more about that, you can watch this week's episode on Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, which is a god-awful movie, but we had to cover it.
The best white dudes on film?
Not quite, but we'll announce that when we announce it, which is going to be soon. We do have patreon.com/PLD Projects. We also have YouTube membership. And on that, we're going to have a new exclusive 2 Mediocre White Dudes podcast. We are rewatching the MCU. We've been doing Iron Man first. It's going to come up in probably mid-month or maybe early March. And we're going to do phase 1 in its entirety exclusively on either YouTube membership or Patreon. That's not to say it won't appear on the channel eventually. Eventually it will, but it's going to be quite a while, I think, before we actually put it on the main channel. So if you want to hear us talk about that, can't wait, then join the Patreon with Austin Goodell and with Brian Buckingham, and we have a great crew there for sure. Join the YouTube membership. Do that as well. A lot of fun we have over there, exclusive stuff. Also do my Queen podcast every week. That's going on Crown and Jewels. We're back into the Flash Forward and soundtrack, going track by track through the chronological order there. I wish I could tell you what was this week, but I recorded so many of them and put them in the bank because I was on vacation. I don't remember what's coming out when at this point. We're somewhere about midway through the Flash Gordon soundtrack. I'll tell you that much for sure. Anything else I do? Yep. Class Action will be coming back in March 24th, I believe. We have at our next date. We haven't officially decided on a topic, I don't believe. But we're still kind of.
We should probably do that.
We should have. We should doing some mulling some ideas and getting through that as well. And I think is that all my shows? I'm in 1,000 streams. I think it is. That's it.
I think
That's
it
what we're
is.
gonna do. That's what we'll do. I also produced for Kristen Harloff and produced for The Real Rejects and Matt Sarah as well. So go check out those YouTube channels. That helps me out as well.
That's so wild to me. Like just hearing you say that you produce videos for Matt fucking Sarah.
More audio for Matt Sarah. I don't want to do any of the videos, but yeah, I am involved.
But still, it's like a guy that I grew up idolizing.
Right. Yeah.
And like he's talking about movies. And I will say, having met Matt and spoken to him about movies, me and him do tend to clash on a lot of opinions.
Yeah,
but it's just cool to like see him like branching out and doing. He's got his podcast with Jim Norton where he tries to talk about movies,
right?
But Jim is very like professional broadcast host, like keeps it going.
Absolutely,
but yeah, it's cool. And just like hearing when you say, "Yeah, I'm working with Matt Sarah," I'm like, "Fuck, dude."
Good dude. He really is a good dude. I don't agree with I don't agree with him all the time either, but that's okay. I don't agree with anybody all the time, honestly, but it is what it is. Yeah, but that'll do it then. We will see you next time, I guess, next week, Andor, season 1. Get to it. If you watch it with us, let us know what you think about it. And let us know what you think about the trailer. Let us know what you think about the Kathleen Kennedy news. What do you think? Leave us some comments. Help us fight that almighty algorithm. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. It's on the audio. Give us 5 stars there. We love that stuff. All right, we'll see you later. We're out of here. Take care, guys. May the force be with you. Always.